Hello everyone, welcome to this amazing channel. My name is Osborne and I'll be taking you through this amazing journey. A journey starts in our lessons in Excel as beginners, or let's say a novice in terms of Excel. So this journey will be looking at a step-by-step approach to getting to be acquainted with Excel, to at least know our way around. We can't know everything at once, but we can start from the basics. So I'll be taking you through this amazing journey, and whether you are here to learn, explore, then you are in the right place. All right. So as you go on to learn, or you go on to explore with us on this channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. All right, so let's begin. Now when we talk of Microsoft Excel, I know coming from the senior high school level or wherever we are coming from, we've learned a lot, if not a lot, we know around Excel. So there are some basic terms that when you're using Microsoft Excel we have to know. And for the first, then look at a workbook. So a workbook, so you just take it as let's say a notebook, right? When you take a notebook, it has several leaflets. So in Microsoft Excel we call these ones spreadsheets, right? Or let's say sheets. So the workbook is a spreadsheet program file that you create in Excel, and it contains one or more worksheets. All right, now the next term that we are all familiar with, or we heard it in the definition of workbook, is spreadsheet. So with a spreadsheet, it's just let's say a tool to organize, calculate, analyze, and visualize data. Now when it comes to spreadsheets, we all know that they consist of grids made up of rows and columns, right? And these intersections of these rows and columns gives us the cells that we work in, right? So when you open Microsoft Excel fresh, right, looking at mine, it's just an Excel, just that I have my grids hidden. So let me just open a new sheet for you. All right, so when you open a new sheet, you can see these empty boxes that we can move around in are the cells. Exactly. Now this new let me say document that has opened, you can see it's open in the same Excel file, in the same workbook, right? And you can see the name sheet 1, and that's what a spreadsheet, or that's a sheet in the workbook. All right, now the next one is a cell, which we already talked about, the intersection between the rows and the column, or where the data or formulas are entered. All right, so when we get back to our cell, our sheet 1, so let's say in cell B2, so in the cell, that's where we get to type anything that we want. So for example, if we want to type names of individuals, then we just come to the cells and we can do that perfectly. And I know we are all familiar with it, so I'll try my possible best to move as fast as possible here, since I know most of us already know. Then we know the columns and the rows in Excel. Now when we talk of columns and rows, columns are the vertical groups of cells, right, in a worksheet, while the rows are the horizontal one. So for example, back to our sheet 1, you can see the highlighted part in yellow here becomes the column, so column B, right? Now when it comes to, and not mostly, the columns are in letters, so A, B, C, D, and we have the rows in numbers, as you can see here, 1, 2, the end. All right, now back we also have the cell address or references. Now you can see in this sheet we have several boxes. All right, so let me maintain the yellow color, then let me make the rows. All right, so the rows, let's say blue, see blue. Right, now you can see several boxes, right? Now whenever we are working in a specific cell, it is uniquely, or let me say, it has a unique identification, so that anytime that we want to locate that cell, it will be very easy for us to do so, right? So for example, back to the note, so The cell address or reference, that's the unique name of a cell based on its column and row, right? So in intersection of a row and column becomes a cell. Now, for example, if we take, let's say, column B here, we take column B here, right? Then we take row 8 here. Intersection between row 8 and column B give us cell B8. All right, so let me, okay, formula bar. All right, so this is where we are going to see our cell reference. As you can see here, we have B8. Now as we go on, we'll get to know that even with this reference number or cell number, we can assign a unique name to these cells, so that anytime we want to refer to that cell number or that cell, right, it becomes very easy for us. All right, so let's move on. The next one you look at are formulas. Now looking at spreadsheets, right, we mentioned that it's a digital tool that helps us organize, calculate, and visualize data, right? Okay, now to be able to make calculations, make analysis in Microsoft Excel or in these spreadsheets, that's where we use these formulas. Now a formula is a calculation entered in a cell that starts with an equal to sign. So we have to put it in our mind, and I know we already know that every formula starts with an equal to sign, right? To be able to enter a formula in any cell, you have to start with an equal to sign for Excel to be able to interpret it as a formula. All right, now we have a formula, then we have functions. So with the formulas, we can talk of, let's say, equal to. So let me get back to our sheet so that we can take some examples. So looking at our formulas, all right, so let's say we have set of numbers. Let's say we have 1 2 3 7 8. So let's say we have, let me name this column as, maybe we have so let's say we have rice here, then we have, let's say, maize. So these ones are, let's say, in kilograms, and the rice are also in kilograms. All right, so let me chip this one also in. Now whenever I highlight a cell, you can see that what is contained in a cell, right? What's contained in a cell appears up here, and where it appears is what we call the formula bar. So anytime that we want to, let's say, change something in a cell, we can just highlight, come here, and we can change it over there. Or better still, we can just double click into the cell and make the changes that we want. All right, so let's say I have maize, I have 5 kilogram, 5 kilogram, 6 kilogram, 9 kilograms, and let's say 4.4 kilograms. Now if I want to add, I know that 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, 3 is 10. Now if I want to do that, so that's why I put in a formula so that Excel does it automatically for me. So what I'll do, I just put my equal to sign for Excel to know that I'm inputting a formula, and I'll select the cell. Now this is cell D5, right, plus E5. Now I just hit my equal to sign, then I get my total. All right, and I can scroll down, all right, to get a total for the other ones also. So this is an example of what a formula, right? A formula. Now we also have functions. Now these functions, okay, are predetermined formulas in Excel that perform specific tasks. All right, so let's keep that one also in mind. Now I think it sounds a little funny that I still brought a picture of let's say the front page of an Excel. All right, or let's say the opening page of an Excel, just to show you how it is, forgetting that I already have it just in front of us. All right, so but let's use that one as a guide, all right, so that we know our way around how do you call it, our Excel, the front page, the ribbon and everything. Now looking at this opening screen, that's the picture here, right, the picture which is selected. Now you can see that you have the quick access bar which is over here. So from here you can see it over here where my mouse is hovering, where you can see the auto save on and off. You can see this, I can see undo, I can see redo here. So this gives me my quick access toolbar, so I can customize it and add other commands that I want to be there so that I can easily access them. Right, then we also have the tags bar, which we already know, the title bar where the name of our documents is. We have the formula bar that I showed you. We have the search, the ribbons. You can collapse ribbon using this tab here, so you can collapse the ribbon. Exactly. You can also bring it back. Now we also have the Windows button. I know with these ones, as time goes on, we get to know more about it, so we won't waste much time over here. Alright, so let's look at some basic uses of Excel. Now Excel itself is, I think, one of the most powerful tools, alright, that can help you to achieve a lot. And just like what's, let's say, when it comes to maybe writing a letter, or maybe keeping a database, visualizing data and other stuff, Excel is this one powerful tool that you can use in achieving a lot. All right, now looking at this chart over here, all right, I just brought this chart so that at least we can get a little idea about how powerful Excel is. So Microsoft Excel, you can see for budgeting and finance. Apart from, you can use it for data analysis, project analysis. We can even use it to for track stocks. You can use it for project management. You can use it for inventory taking and other stuff, a whole lot. So Excel is very powerful, and getting to know or knowing your way around Excel is one interesting and amazing thing you have to know. All right, and that's why we are here to help. Now, the uses of Excel, the first one is to store data. All right, so data storage. Now with these cells, we can enter text, numbers, dates into them and save it as long as we want. We can use it for mathematical operations or for mathematical calculations. So we have the addition, subtraction, average. You can use it for even with the averages. You know, when it comes to average, you have several averages, right? You know, the arithmetic mean, that's the normal average that we know. We can use for geometric mean and a whole lot. Sorry, you can use it for data analysis, right? So if you have a tons of data, you can sort the data. So for example, if you are sorting it based on numbers, sorting is based on a unique code given to these data, you can organize the data for better understanding, right? The same with the data analysis, we can graph charts and a whole lot from the data, right, using Excel. So we can draw a bar chart, a pie chart, line charts, scatter diagrams, maps. And as time goes on, these are some of the things that we'll be using Excel to do. So in this first lesson, we are just getting an overview of what we can use Excel to do. Of course, we can't capture everything over here, but we'll try our possible best to give you the basics so that at least you can know your way around Excel and do much with Excel. The next one is automations, right? So we can use functions and macros to automate repetitive tasks and other stuffs. So as time goes on, we'll be looking at that one. So for budgeting, right, we can track our income and expenses. We can use for data management, can store large database, exactly. Then we can also use it for business reports, scientific analysis, right? Now, getting to know your way around Excel also comes with working faster, right? And as we are beginning to acquaint ourselves, so this is the best time for us. As working with Excel, we try to learn how to work with it faster. And that's where working faster with keyboard shortcuts also comes in. All right, so this is just an extra to spice everything up in our first lesson, right? And there are several keyboard shortcuts that we can go in for to help you work faster with Excel. And today we'll be looking at some basic ones, and as we go ahead, we'll be looking at them into details. So the most common one and the consistently used ones, right, let me see, the one we also use in Microsoft Word, right? So for example, we have a copy, paste, undo, save. We print, redo. So once you are watching this video, you can just pause, take notes of these shortcuts, right? And we have a data that you are applying all these, so that you know how all these ones works, right? So you can insert hyperlinks and all those stuffs, right? So we also have shortcuts for formatting, right? So if you want to bold text, italize, underline, you want to open the format, we will open the format cell dialog box. You want to select an entire column, select an entire row, select the entire worksheet. Selecting an entire worksheet is just like selecting a whole how do you call it, a whole document in Microsoft Word. Control A, which we all know. So the only thing I think might be new here for us would be applying a currency format, right? So for example, if you have a large data which are in a number format or a general format and want to change it to a currency format, that's where we hit our Control Shift and our dollar sign, right? All right, our dollar sign is on our keyboard. Sorry, for mine is 4, so I just hit Control Shift 4 and I get that one. Control Shift 5, I get my percentage sign. Control Shift 3, I get my format data. Control Shift 7, I get my apply border. So apply border to selected cells. All right, now we have some basic formulas, right? So looking at the basic shortcuts, also we go down to looking at some basic formulas that we can deal with. Now, just like we already know, a formula in Excel is an equation, right, used to perform calculation, manipulate data, or return specific values in a cell. Now every formula starts with an equal to sign, so you can see that the equal to sign is highlighted over here because it's very important to always remember, right? It always starts with an equal to sign. So this is something that you should always remember. Sorry. All right. Okay. So every formula starts with an equal to sign. All right. So the basic structure of a formula. All right. So the basic structure of a formula. Now, the equal to sign, number one is the equal to sign, and that's the basic. We are looking at the basic structure of a formula. So if I write a formula equal to maybe cell A1 plus A5, sorry, A4. Okay, that's good. Now we have three structures. Then the first part is the equal to sign. The second part, right, is the operands, right, and that's the numbers or the cell references or the text values. Well, apart from the cell references, we can also use numbers. So for example, if I want to add 1000 to, sorry, if I want to add 1000 to cell A1, I can also enter 1000 here, and it's also recognized in Excel and to do that for you. And the third part or the third structure is the operators. With the operators, it can be a addition sign, a minus sign, multiplication sign, a division sign, or a power sign. And I hope you know how to generate all these powers on your keyboard. So for example, on mine, or if you have you're using the keyboard with a numeric keyboard aside, you have your plus over there, but mine is a shortened keyboard. So with my shift equal to sign, I get my plus, shift equal to, I get my plus, then my minus is just here. Then if I want to get my multiplication sign, I hold my shift 8. And if I want to get my division sign, it's just here. Sorry. Okay. All right. Then my power sign, shift 6. Okay. Now, so the basic arithmetic operators are also here. All right. So looking at the basic arithmetic operators, I think we already know this one, so I'll skip through. But if you are not familiar with it, you can just pause the video and read it for yourself. It's very, very important. All right, now I have a data set that I want us to apply some of these things that we've learned here into it, and this is just to add up or to give you exactly what, or let's say a practical aspect of the noise or the theory that we've been spewing since the beginning of the video. Now this is a monthly sales report. Okay, it's not anything. I just compiled this one, auto-generated this using AI. All right, it's not any big deal. So I have a data with about 299 entries. Okay, so 299 entries. Now you wonder how I moved from my date to the last part of my data. Now this is part of the shortcuts that you have to know, so that at least you move faster within your data. So imagine if you have a database or a report with about 50,000 entries, and you have to use your arrow key down to scroll down to the last part of your document. And this is, let me say, a lazy way of doing it, because you end up wasting lots of your time. Meanwhile, to get to the end of that data set, just select the first cell. So in mind, let's say I want to start from it starts from cell A4. I want to scroll down. I just hold my control key and I hit my arrow key down once, and I get to the end of my data. All right, the end of the data. So control plus arrow key down. All right, so let me write it. So down arrow key. So down arrow key. Let me make it bigger. So control plus down arrow key will take me to the last part of my entries. Now assuming let's say I have several columns. Now here I have only let me see, 7 columns here. Imagine my columns were up to, let's say, column AW, and I want to move from column A to column AW. Instead of using my right arrow key to do that, the best thing I do is to just hold control and hit my arrow key to the right to take me to the last column of my data set. Okay, so we take note of that one also. All right, now back to our additions or some arithmetic operations that we've learned so far. All right, now these total sales data here, right? We have the unit sold and the unit price. So let's assume like we have a supermarket, right? We have a supermarket and we have people coming in buying a lot of stuff. The products that we have ranges from tablets to smartphones to desktops and a whole lot. So this is just like let me say a smart shop where you can get computers and other gadgets, right? So what we are going to do here is I'm going to get rid of the total sales and we enter our formulas to generate our total sales. All right, and I think this is very simple and we can do that. So to do that, I have to select the data that I want. So this is part of working faster around your data, right? So instead of selecting the cells 1 and hitting delete, this is also a way of wasting a lot of your time, right? So let me get back our data. So we just hold our control. Now we know that to select a data, right, we hold shift and then we can come down to select the data. And looking at doing this multiple times to get to the end of what we want to delete, it's going to be time consuming. All right, so with this one also, the fastest way we can also do that is to hold shift and hold control. So we hold control and shift, then we hit the arrow key down to highlight everything. All right, then we just hit delete, then we deleted everything. All right, so you can also pause the data. So you can pause the video, and we'll make sure to give you a link to this data so that you can work within it. All right, so I just hold my control shift, hit my arrow key down, then delete. I delete everything. So now we are going to enter our formulas to generate our total sales, right? Because mostly when we our salespersons enter these data into our database. For example, if we work for the supermarket, right, and we have to get the total sales for every customer, right? So what we have to do is, now there are three structures in every formula: the equal to sign, the operands, and the operators. So now we want to add total sales, so we multiply, so the unit price times the number of products sold, right? So that's where we're going to use our multiplication sign, so that'll be our operator. Now, which cells are we multiplying? So we have to locate the cells using the cell reference, right? So what we are going to do is we select the cell, which is cell E5, multiplied by cell F5. Then we hit our equal to sign. We got 5,100. Now, one beautiful thing about Excel is that, you remember we said something about automations. Now, instead of doing this or entering this formula multiple times, right, for every entry, what we have to do when we enter the formula for one, we can just copy the formula and apply it to all other aspects that we want the formula to apply. So in this section, in this part, after getting the first one, or the first entry that was on 28th November 2024, what we can do is we can just bring our cursor to the bottom end, right, of the cell. We can see that it turns into a plus sign. So the basic thing we know, or basic thing we can do, is to hold and drag, right? Drag to the end of our data, right? So be automated for us. But just like we already said, this is time consuming, right? And our journey here with Bavcore is to make sure that everything we do is done effectively, right? To save time, right? So efficiency is a hallmark of Bavcore. So what we are going to do is, after getting the results for first one, now one thing, or what we can do to make everything faster, instead of just dragging the formula down, we know that we want to apply it to all our data sets to the end, which is about 299 entries, right? So what we do is we select the cell that we've generated the output where our formula was entered. We bring our cursor to the bottom end for it to turn into the plus sign. Then we just double click. After double clicking, all our entry, the formula will be applied to all our entries, instead of scrolling to the end of our data set, or the end of our entry, which is going to take us about, let's say 30 seconds, or let's say 1 minute, right? By just a second, we get our output for all the data. And that's how powerful Excel is with regards to automations. All right, so I think that will be for multiplication sign. Now, one thing we also learned, so let me also take you through some how do you call it, sorting, right? I think so sorting is also one thing that we can do to our data. So for example, we know that the data entry is currently sorted by date, right? So let me see. Yes, it's sorted by date. Oh, okay, it's not even sorted by date, it's mixed, right? Now, with these data sets, what we can do is we can also sort it by date, so that we know it according to the date. Okay, so on 1st November, so you can see all these entries were in November 2024. So we want to see every transaction that took place on the 4th, on the this, on the 2nd, on the 3rd, and doing so is going to take a lot of time, right? That's why sorting the data comes in, right? Sorting the data comes in. So with this one, with these same data sets, we can sort the data based on the dates, can sort it based on the region, because we can see that we have north, south, east, and west regions. We can sort them based on that, or better still, we can sort it based on the products. So I want to know the number of laptops, desktops, smartphones that were sold, right? We can also do that using the sort, so that we can get a group data with common, let's say, products, or common dates, or common regions, right? So this will be the first part of our lesson, right? Our lesson 1. And thank you very much for watching. Lesson 2 will be uploaded soon, and in case you have anything, any question, you just leave it in the comment section. If you have anything that needs to be addressed, leave it in the comment section, or better still, we have our emails will be linked in the description. In case of anything, you can just send us an email follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you very much for watching. We are out.